Okay, so I was a divorced mother of two young children, and I went back to work cutting hair as a hairstylist and wanted to buy my own Great Clips. And I grew to owning 4 Great Clips salons over time and was super proud of that. And got remarried and literally thought I was on top of the world. So I want you to think about when you've ever had a really bad day. So mine was April 29th, 2016. That day changed my life forever. In a matter of 30 minutes, I received 3 phone calls while I was on a business trip in Nashville that would become my personal tsunami. I had a meeting that morning scheduled to focus on how to grow my business, and I received the first phone call as I was getting out of the shower from my landlord at my Springville salon, and he informed me I was currently on a month-to-month lease agreement that he had found a new tenant and that I would have to close my store. Then the second phone call I got was from my husband, and he let me know that when I got home from my trip that he wouldn't be there. He decided that I spent too much time focusing on work and as a result had had an affair and would like to start his life over with his coworker. So then as I'm trying to sink everything in and head out the door to my meeting, I get this third phone call. And it's from my landlord whom we're renting our home from. And he lets me know that he has spoken to my husband and he's found a new tenant and I have 30 days to move to find a place for me and my kids to live. So as you can imagine, I totally felt like a failure. I had just failed as an owner. Who gets themselves in this situation? And I had 10 amazing employees and their families that I completely and totally let down. What do you even say to them to make it right? I felt like a failure as a wife. I had no idea that my husband had been having an affair. I didn't see the signs or even pay attention to it. I felt like a failure as a mom. For the second time in our life, we're being evicted from our home and we're having to start all over from scratch again. In that moment, I totally fell apart. I went into a deep depression and I seriously found this dark hole to just sink into. I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to talk to anybody. So in that moment, I made the worst mistake that you could possibly make. I hid from my responsibilities and for being accountable. And I didn't want to even connect with the outside world, so I didn't respond to emails, texts, phone calls. I left my GM to run operations by herself. So as you can imagine, come August 2016, 65% of my staff walked out. They were sick of me having a self-pity party and not being there for them. And I realized if I didn't fix it, I was going to lose everything in a matter of minutes. So I had 2 choices to make. One, I could continue to feel sorry for myself and actually lose everything that I've been working so hard for. Or 2, I could pull myself up by my bootstraps and take ownership for how I created this mess and fix it. I took a long, hard look in the mirror and I owned up to my part in creating this mess. And I had to go back to our brand promise. And our brand promise is we care more about you. So I had to stop wallowing in my self-pity and really start connecting and caring about the people around me, especially my teams. So the road back, it definitely wasn't easy. I had one store that got hit harder than all the others. That store was doing over 500 haircuts a week, so I had to go back to work. So with me working so much, my family had to come together, and even my 10-year-old daughter, she contacted over 850 people helping me find employees. I wouldn't punish my staff by making them work more for my failure. So I made a commitment that everyone would work their regular hours and I personally would make up the difference. And by working those long days, I really gained an appreciation for what the employees went through. I really wanted my staff to know that I did care and I really focused on having a positive attitude when I walked into the salon and bringing in lunch and thanking them for their extra efforts. I never talked badly about anyone who left. In fact, I took full ownership for it, and I contacted all those that quit and apologized for my mistakes. We were able to, by owning up for my responsibilities and for not blaming others, the staff, like word got around the community that I was not the person they thought I was, and the majority of the staff came back. Because I had chosen to take ownership and to work hard along my staff, we were able to regrow the business. And I was able to receive Rookie of the Year award and to be able to cultivate and create that appreciation and hardworking relationship with my staff. So to get back, in September of 2017, we decided to open up a home in Melgar, Colombia, where we sponsor and take care of over 70 children. And the following year, I sent 6 employees back to Colombia for an event we sponsored to provide makeovers to help build self-esteem for women going through human trafficking. I learned during this time that it's really important for us to connect with those around us and to get out of ourselves and to really put other people's needs before our own. And when we do that, that's what helps us make it through the hard times. And I hope by me sharing my experience of some of my failures and facing some of life's hard challenges, that you guys will be able to look in your own lives, whether business or personal, and see where can you hold yourself more accountable and what can you do to care for others, because when you take care of your people, they'll take care of the rest.